In this episode, Diana Bober is reported missing by her family. Her car is found at the foot of a hiking path where she was hiking alone. But as it turns out, she wasn't alone. Stalked by a mountain lion, Diana is unaware of the imminent attack that is about to happen to her. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. Welcome to Final Affliction. In October 2018, a 55-year-old woman by the name of Diana Bober went missing. Her family became concerned when they hadn't heard from her in a while. The last they knew was that Diana had headed to Welch's in Oregon. The village is situated 40 miles southeast of Portland and near the Mount Hood National Forest. This forest covers the base of Mount Hood, Oregon's highest mountain. It is a place that is popular with hikers and campers. It offers a beautiful wilderness set in rugged terrain. With over 1 million acres of countryside, it is a great place to explore. It's covered in forest, waterfalls, glacial creeks, and alpine meadows. Over 4 million people visit the national forest every year to enjoy the outdoors. Diana drove her car towards the forested area and parked it near the Zigzag Ranger Station. This was where the Hunchback Trail began. It was an undulating trail which promised incredible scenery and great viewpoints along the way. The trail runs for 9 miles before heading back down the same path. The hike was steep and rocky in places, and in the first 2 miles, the path rose 2,000 feet in elevation to the first viewpoint. This was where Diana's hike came to a sudden and tragic end. The rough and rugged terrain set amongst the forest was prime mountain lion or cougar habitat. These cats inhabit North, Central, and South America and are ambush predators. They hunt their prey using their stealth and agility. Although they can sprint at great speeds in pursuit of prey, they more typically pounce on an animal. No one knows exactly what happened to Diana, but it was likely she was stalked and then killed by a mountain lion. Diana was fit and was used to the outdoors. She enjoyed hiking. On this particular occasion, she set out alone. Walking along the trail, the mountain lion would have picked up her scent. If it was hunting for prey, then it would have homed in on Diana as she moved along the rocky path. Placing each paw on the ground carefully and silently, watching from a distance, the cat followed Diana, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Perhaps Diana paused briefly in her ascent to take a breath or a photo. Or maybe she knelt down to tie a shoelace, making herself small and vulnerable. Whatever happened, the attack would have been sudden and unexpected. It is likely that Diana did not see the mountain lion before it was upon her and too late. Based on what survivors have said about other mountain lion attacks, it would have pounced on Diana from behind or from a blind spot. Males can weigh up to 160 pounds and females just over 100 pounds. Being hit by one of these large cats would send you crashing to the ground. In an instant, the cougar would be on top of you without you even catching a glimpse of it. They typically deliver a fatal bite to the neck of their prey. This either suffocates the larger prey animals or breaks the neck of smaller ones. Evidence suggested that Diane put up a fight.
She had a sharp object that she used. She had mace. She had a stick. So the evidence is clear that she fought hard.
Being floored by the mountain lion, she scrabbled about, trying to defend herself, kicking and punching as the mountain lion tried to deliver its fatal bite. Through flashes of beige-brown fur, she could see the cougar's sharp teeth. She could hear it growling as it mercilessly carried out the attack. Her hands were bitten as she tried desperately to push the cat away, but the cougar kept up its ferocious attack. Although it was relatively small for a mountain lion, it was strong and powerful. Fighting back would have been exhausting and difficult. It managed to bite her repeatedly around the back of her neck, as Diana thrashed around trying to escape. But then, tragically, the mountain lion was able to secure a solid grip around Diana's neck, and it bit down powerfully. A bite force of approximately 400 psi and canines 2 inches long make these cats formidable predators. Diana's neck was found to be broken, and she sadly died from her injuries. It would have been a brutal and terrifying attack, one that would have caught Diana completely by surprise. When her family notified the authorities that she was missing, they immediately set up a search party. Her car was located at the ranger station at one end of the Hunchback Trail. The search team followed the trail up through the wooded region. A week after Diana was last seen by family and 2 days after discovering her car, her body was found. She had made it only 2 miles along the trail before being attacked. Her body was found 300 feet off the trail and down a steep incline. Her hands and the back of her neck were covered in at least 12 puncture wounds. Her neck was also broken. It was a tragic finding for Diana's family. They described her as an avid hiker and outdoors person. She had died doing what she loved, but locals and officials were shocked by the attack. Typically, mountain lions are shy and will move away from people when they sense they are near. Occasionally, they attack lone adults and small children, but this is rare. Following the finding of Diana's body and concluding that she had died from an animal attack, wildlife officials set up cameras along the Hunchback Trail. These motion sensors cameras would hopefully provide evidence of a predator in the area. 3 days later, they had their footage. It showed a female cougar close to where Diana had been killed. Suspecting this individual to be responsible for Diana's death, state police and search dogs set off to catch it. It wasn't far from the trail where Diana had been hiking. When it heard the search team closing in, it tried to hide. The team managed to track it down, and it scarpered up a tree. Police then shot and killed it. The cat fell to the ground with a heavy thump. Then it was taken away for examination. The cougar was delivered to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Forensics Lab in Ashland. Technicians tried to match DNA from the cougar to that found on Diana, but they weren't able to. Too much time had passed since the attack, and rainwater would likely have washed away any evidence from Diana's body. The female cougar they killed weighed in at 64.5 pounds. This was a relatively small cat, but it was still strong and powerful and was able to deliver a fatal bite. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife were unclear what the motive for the attack was. The mountain lion was not emaciated and appeared to be in good shape. It didn't look as though the attack had been made out of desperation for a meal, and when tested for rabies, her result came back negative.
The necropsy report on that cat showed nothing wrong with him whatsoever. Everybody expected to see some kind of brain tumor or worms or something that would drive him to that behavior. That just wasn't so.
Maybe Diana startled the cougar, and instead of fleeing like many cougars, it attacked her. It is also possible, of course, that the cougar was out hunting when she homed her senses in on the lone hiker. However, she did not eat Diana nor stash her away for later. The sheriff's office stated that there were about 6,000 cougars or mountain lions in the state of Oregon. They received hundreds of complaints every year about livestock and pets being attacked by them. But no one has ever been killed by a wild mountain lion in Oregon before, at least not to their knowledge. The only known incident of a mountain lion attack in Oregon was the death of 36-year-old Renee Radzawan Chapman. She was head keeper at Wildcat Haven Sanctuary. This is a nonprofit that rescues wild cats, often those that have been illegally kept as pets. The young mother was tragically mauled to death inside the cat's cage back in 2013, despite expressing concerns to her boss about working alone with the cougars. Besides this attack, Diana would be the first to take place naturally in the wild. Over the past 100 years, there have been 126 cougar attacks in North America. 27 of these have proved fatal. It seems Diana was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and although hiking in the great outdoors always carries with it an element of risk, no one could have predicted the attack on Diana that led to her terrifying final affliction.